How easy is it to break down destination stereotypes and misconceptions? Hello and welcome to the Boostara Podcast. I am your host, James. On the Boostara Podcast, we speak to leaders in business and uncover the truths and insights from their amazing experiences. At Boostara, we help businesses boost growth, cut costs, and gain better business insights. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help you, type the word growth into the comments below and I will be sure to reach out. Today, from kind of opposite ends of Europe, I'm very happy to say we're joined by Elvis Cara, owner of Tourist Tours Albania. Welcome, Elvis.
Hi, James. Thanks for the invitation, my friend.
Well, no, thank you very much for joining us. And I've kind of spoiled it now. I wanted to ask kind of where you're joining from, but where exactly are you joining us from?
So I'm right now in Tirana, it's the capital of Albania.
Oh, beautiful. Brilliant. This is going to serve the pretty much the basis of our conversation today. And I've kind of, let's look at the beginning, kind of the theme that we're going to run with today, Elvis. But, for those of our listeners that are not familiar with yourself, Elvis, not familiar with Tourist Tours Albania, could you give us a little bit of a run through as to yourself and your journey to where you are today?
Great. So I am 35. I'm born in 1990 in a city called Kavaja. It's like 5 kilometers from the beach sides of the country. And actually in 1990, the Albania changed from the communist regime to democracy and has been very tough times. So my father started directly on 1991 doing some business, buying stuff and selling to other merchants. And he was very lucky on that time and he did quite good and built a couple of businesses. So I kind of been raised in an entrepreneur family. But my uncle was a musician and he said to me, you have a very good musician ear, so maybe you should start and learn how to play piano, guitar. So I did that, and when I was 13 years old, my uncle comes back to me and said, I found an instrument that has no competition at all. And I said, what is that? And he said, it's contrabass. You know what it is? I said, no idea about that. So he sent it me to a nearby city called Durrës. And then there was a music school there. And then I started practicing contrabass or double bass in English. And I went on studying that in the University of Arts in Tirana, in the capital. And during that time, my father went bankrupt. So all the family business was gone. So it was a very tough time for me and for my family. And I decided to leave the country because of the tough time. So I went to Germany in a city called Essen, and I started doing my master there in Essen. But I quickly changed to bachelor again because the level of the student, they were very much higher than me. So I changed from master to bachelor again. And I was very passionate about the music world. And I've been the whole Europe playing in every concert hall in Germany, let's say, around Europe. We went in Spain, 2 months touring in Spain, France. And then in my third year in Germany, I was always thinking about how we can bounce back, how we can just do what we did. And then I kind of lost my motivation about music, and the business world started to grow into me. And I went to my professor. I said, I've decided I'm not going to pursue it like the music after my graduation. So, and then I said to him, I'm gonna finish, and then just let it there. I'm gonna start a new world in the business world. I don't know exactly, but this is my decision. And then I go back to my home. I just type in YouTube how to make money. That was my first thing. And then in YouTube comes the Rich Dad Poor Dad book from Robert Kiyosaki. I just go on Amazon and order that. It was that book changed my life exactly. So then in that day, I kind of said, okay, that's it. I'm going to pursue this business world, be an entrepreneur and investor, and I'm going to finish my career with the music world. So in 2016, I was in Germany. I played my bachelor diploma. And then I said to my professor, that's it, I'm done. And I joined a vacuum cleaner company in Germany. It's a very old one called Vorwerk. And then they were searching for sellers to sell their products. So I joined them because Robert Kiyosaki was telling that in the business world, you need to learn how to sell, you know? So I found that it was very great for me to go door to door selling vacuum cleaners. And we were learning how let's say the suggest marketing idea. So we would sell, and we were very equipment like 1,500 or 2,000 euros, very high end equipment. And on the end of the sale, we would try to get 2 or 3 names. We should present the products again. So that was the whole idea of it. And I did it for like 7 months. And then on the way going from family to family, business to business, I kind of discovered there is a big need for cleaning businesses in Germany, cleaning services. And then I said, okay, I can find 2, 3 people and open a business. And with my visa on that time, I could open a business in Germany. So they opened to me. I got the license and everything. And I started with my first client, my second, my third, my fourth client. And then when I went there to renew my visa to the foreign office to renew my visa, they said, what are you doing? You could not do this. You finished for music. You should stay to the music world. You cannot go in the business world. I said, well, I'm doing it. I have contracts. I have employees. I have everything. And they just shut down my business there.
Ooh.
And I said, okay, good. I went back to my clients trying to explain what happened. And I took all my clothes and everything and went back to Albania. It was beginning of 2018. And on that time I had some money put aside. And then my father just found a new tourist location nearby our town. It was, well, when I was a small child, for that location, for us, it was the end of the world. But 2018, like 3 big 5-star hotels were built there. And then for the first time I went there, and it was like a new area, like being built, promenades, cafes, restaurants, hotels. And he found an owner that had like 2, let's say it's like, how do you say, like 2 buildings, but he didn't touch them. Just, he forgot about them. And they were directly near 2 5-star hotels. And my father was in the grocery store businesses. So he said, okay, we have all the equipment and we can just go there. And we just opened that. It was it was a big success for us after so many years of struggling. And on that time, I opened my tourist business, like Tourist Tours Albania. I'm doing some tours for the German speaking tourists, like Swiss, Germans, and Austrians. And 2019, and then my father said, okay, we have the nearby, the owner has a nearby, also other location. We can just get it and then open a pizzeria there. And then we invested the money to open a pizzeria, restaurant, and fast food. And 2020, the COVID came. So I just forgot about my tourist business because it was all done. And I focused on my grocery store and my pizzeria. So we built that. We bought the buildings, and not on the whole building, but the area that we were doing the businesses. And we kind of just started from there to rebuild our life. And now I'm the owner of 3 small businesses. And the next year, it's going to be my last year owning the grocery store. This year I rented my pizzeria and my restaurant. Next year I'm gonna rent my grocery store and focus totally on my touring business. And so that's my whole story till till today.
Wow. Elvis, yeah, I think, for a lot of people listening that have been involved with business and to some extent will most probably, empathize with you that, the business journey is not just straight line,
No, no, no.
works out like this, right? But, like your story in Germany, all of the COVID, so many disruptors every single year, right? Actually, when you in the moment you might feel like it's forever, but actually when you step back and you summarize like you did there, over just a few minutes, you realize like how many things happen in
Yeah.
such a short space of time, right? um you focusing on the tour side, the travel side.
Mm.
I kind of alluded to it at the very beginning about trends, the stereotypes, uh, within traveling in Albania. And I think for the vast majority of people listening will probably be UK based, maybe not so familiar with Albania as a
Yeah.
destination. Can you elaborate a little bit on, how the travel destination, Albania as a travel destination, has developed and changed over the years?
So actually, it's very pity that we are so unknown in the, let's say, in the Western world, because if you go and start and try to write in the Google, which is the first settlement in Europe, the Google would say which is a small village in Albania. So we are one of the oldest population and country in Europe, actually. But we are so unknown in the West. And if you look to the history, you will find the why. Our biggest, let's say, disaster was our China in the communism. So we went during the Second World War till 1990. We were under the most harsh dictatorship in the Europe. So the country was very poor, nothing here, and so that's the time that we lost the connection with the rest of the Europe. You know,
Mm,
the whole generation of your father and your parents, they don't know nothing about Albania, because on that time, if we compare Albania to Greece, the Greece was an open country. The people would go visit, do tourism. You could go also in the Yugoslavia, do tourism there, even though they were also a communist country. But
mm,
Albania was totally closed. You could not enter the country.
mm,
So there we lost the connection with the euro. And then after the communism, you can just get an idea about a very poor country trying to build a new way of life. And we didn't know how to build a state, or so the first 10 years of the democracy, they were also very, very, very hard.
mm.
And the tourism as a concept in Albania is very new. You know, the first agencies that did some prepaid hotel rooms, they were just in 2014.
Wow.
Like TUI, like the first one, maybe TUI or some other bigger agencies, they came in and just said, okay, for the next year, we will prepay you 200,000 worth of rooms, and
Mm.
the owners, the hotel owners in them, they were, what is, we don't know. We don't know about this idea of prepaid rooms for the next year. And so back in 2013, 2014, there is the first step of developing the tourism. Till then, we had mostly like the nearby countries, like, let's say, Kosovo, North Macedonia, Montenegro, Bosnia, Serbia, like coming into the country. But 2013, 2014, more like Western country are visiting
Mm.
Albania. And then right now it is becoming like we have almost 12 million tourists last year.
Wow.
And I have here, for example, the United Nations World Tourism Organization has revealed that Albania secured the third position globally in terms of tourism sector growth during the
Wow.
first 7 months of 2023 compared to the same period of 2019. So
Mm.
from an unknown country, we are becoming very known right now. And I saw this trend back when I was in Germany in 2017, because I was feeling like what I am missing here, sun, beach, like going into the mountains, very nearby areas, which we don't need to travel like 4 hours or 5 hours to go to the beach. You are in Tirana in half an hour, you are directly in the beach, for example, or maybe in a couple of hours you are on the mountains. So I thought that, okay, we have the best nature there. They have the money, so maybe we can connect them together, you know? And so that's the reason when I came back, I thought, okay, I'm going to open something in tourism, and just started directly there. Just to give you an answer about your question, you have to look to the history why we are so unknown, but now it's become very, very known. So Ryanair entered the market before 2 years, I think, and now they'll open a base in Tirana for the next year, and they're developing new destinations. For 2026, Dublin will have a direct flight with Tirana. And when it comes to the Tirana airport, with the Wizz Air and Ryanair, they just made our airport one of the fastest growth airport in Europe right now.
Wow.
They reached more than 10 million passengers this year, which is more than the Belgrade airport, which has held the first place in the Western Balkan for many, many years. Now it's the Tirana airport. So the country is growing, and many people are coming. Many like, some don't like. We have problems, of course, in the country, but mostly of the tourists, they love it. They love the weather, they love the food, they love the people who lives here, they love mostly of the country. They really go back with. They come here with another idea and go back completely with another idea.
That's fascinating. I mean, I've got two main questions based off of that. But I suppose my first one is, I mean, if you could sort of sell Albania as a destination or somewhere, you know, to me, you know, that I should go on my holiday next year. What would you say about Albania to kind of sell it to me? What does Albania have to offer?
Well, we have, when in terms of you have a family, so I assume you will go to the beach. You know, with small children, it's very difficult to go on the mountains. But I assume you like to go into the beach. So we have two different seas. We have the Adriatic Sea, which is the same coastline that says Croatia, Montenegro. And then we have the Ionian Sea, which is the same coastline as Greece. Turquoise water. And this is the Albanian Riviera. So I will say the Albanian Riviera is very good destination to go and have great holidays, and also the Adriatic. But in terms for you, I think maybe like cultural and beach holiday, a mix of both, to see our history, castles, and mixing them with the beach, that would be a very perfect scenario, I think.
You've sold it to me already. I need to at least check out the tours. I guess another thing that's popped into my head is you mentioned, you know, growth, fastest growing destination, and the fastest in terms of volume of flights, right, growing in Albania. I mean, do you see, you know, for all the positives that brings, you know, can Albania cope with that high growth that it's experiencing and it's forecast to continue to go through? Because inevitably tourism can bring negatives as well, right?
Yeah.
And you know, do you see that, or do you feel like that's just a kind of inevitable kind of negative that you have to take with tourism, and actually the positives outweigh the negatives most of the time?
Well, the only negative effect right now is because of the high boom right now. So the investors are pulling money onto building hotels and apartments on the coastline, you know, and we don't have a very big coastline. It's around 300 kilometers around, but mostly they like to build hotels there because the agencies, they are searching for rooms. So
Mm.
in terms of growth is coming. But I do feel that's the only thing that is damaging, let's say, the nature, and we're not keeping the nature on how it is. So if you
Mm.
go to the South Coast, for example, you will see lots of projects are being built, hotels, and for example, the second biggest group in Europe, right, hotel group in Europe right now is Meliá, is the Spanish hotel group. They
Mm.
built an hotel for 500 rooms. This is the biggest one in the Western Balkans, and they have on their pipeline around 30 more hotels, not that kind big, but 30 more hotels. They do cooperate with Albanian investors and open from the whole country. They will open hotels.
Yeah.
And the Hilton entered also the market. Hyatt is being built in Tirana. And so all the big chains are coming to the country. But I think for us as people who lives here, it's it's becoming number one source of income for us, because the tourism is like a network of. So we bring the tourists here. They do eat, they do go
Yeah.
in bars and restaurants and everywhere. So it's kind of network. And right now it's number one, let's say, sector to invest and to see a future for the
Mm.
people living here. And we have two types of tourism. One is the mass tourism, which is the beach side.
Yeah.
And the other one, which is very unique to us, is the inland or the agro-tourism. The
Mm.
tourism is a concept on when you go to the villages, and it's a small hotel or family-owned restaurants who think like locally. They try to take their stuff locally. They don't import anything, so everything is like bio, and that is taking on right now in Albania. It is being very, very, very positive, also in terms of service, because they are family-owned businesses. They
Yeah.
try to do their best to keep the guests very happy, and
Mm.
the food is amazing. The villages and the nature is amazing, and so that's one secret. When I do any tour, I try to bring the agritourism in the tour to feel the real Albania, let's say.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, and it's twofold for the tourists, for their experience, right? And then also, bringing the benefits of tourism to all parts of Albania, not just concentrating in one specific area, like you said, the sort of mass tourism destinations, but actually bringing the tourists, bringing the money to other parts, that's harder to reach in some aspects. In terms of Tourist Tours Albania, Elvis, who do you ideally work with? Do you look for tourists to book directly with yourself, or are you looking for
So right now,
bigger organizations to work with? Yeah, how do people get on a
yeah.
trip with you?
So my first client, it was back in 2018. I was doing some. I was guiding a group, a Swiss group, and the tour leader said, "Okay, I can introduce you to my owner, to the agency owner who employs me." So he did introduce me there. I fly to nearby Zurich, and I just kind of made a deal with the owner, and we started in 2019. And then that was my first client, the B2B client. And then
Mm.
2020, I booked so many exhibitions, but then everything went uh,
Yeah.
down because of COVID. So, and then I came back to it 2022, and right now I'm partnering. So the Tourist Tours Albania is an incoming tour operator, and we do only work right now with B2B partners. So I have partners in Switzerland, Germany, in England, Denmark, USA, Sweden, and trying to close. I have some contract right now be on my desk, trying to close them for the 2026. And so right now we are only a B2B tour operator. And in terms of technology and AI. I am right now working together with an Italian company called Fox Group. We're trying. I had a meeting before 2 days in the Ministry of Culture. It was Friday in the Ministry of Culture in Albania to implement some technology in AI in our sites, let's say archaeological sites. They have built a group live translation product. They are the only one company in Europe that got the license to build a device. So you can speak in English and this device translates in real time in German, Chinese, French. So you can have a group of multiple entities, multiple countries. You can just speak English, and they will hear their own
Translate.
their own language. So we are in, and my third one in terms of revenue, we are just starting here to build our medical tourism sector, let's say. And we're starting with dental treatments this month, and trying to bring tourists who needs like dental treatments and combine for them with like daily tours here in the country. So this is Tourist Tours Albania. So three three small businesses inside the Tourist Tours Albania.
And on different strands of tourism as well, right? Like you just said, that medical tourism as well as your kind of cultural tours, or your typical kind of beach stay. So I guess, and for anyone that's got any particular desire to go to Albania, it's best to find those partners that you work with.
So I'm working right now with different partners. Let's say mostly of them, they do have the traditional way of making business. So they have their own. So my Swiss client is like since 40 years in the business. And they do so many tours all around the world. They have their customer list. They do, and I'm doing within like an e-bike tour, hiking tour, cultural tour for 2026. And they do sell their tours on their website.
Yeah.
They kind of send me the tourists here, and I organize the whole with my team. We organize the whole tour in Albania in terms of finding the transportation, guiding, accommodation, entrances in our local archaeological sites of museum and restaurants. So that's are the 5 components of organizing a tour. And then my other clients, like I do some camping tour with a German client, and they kind of bring together like 30 campers or around 50, 60 people. And so we just do a big tour and 22 days in the whole country from north, south, east, west Albania. And other tours like more cultural. So I'm on the cultural side, a little bit on the hiking, biking, but more like cultural tours.
Amazing. It's basically if a company's got an idea for a trip they want to take in Albania, they can just come to you and you'll be the magic man and put together the tour.
Yes, absolutely. I can help. We can just build together a product. And right now, Albania is very good for profit margins. So my clients, some of them, they are making also 100% profit margins. I have some clients buying to me with €1,000 and selling with 2,200, or some other buying with €800 and selling with 1,700 euros. So it's Albania right now. It's a very good destinations in terms of profit margins for the agency, because in the tourism sector, the profit margin is not so high as let's say in the technology, or usually the companies, they try to be between 20-30%, and Albania right now can bring more than that.
Which is then becomes very tempting. But and probably compared to other destinations as well, where other destinations maybe were deemed quite cheap in the past, but now actually aren't that cheap.
For example, Croatia right now is becoming very, very expensive. We know Greece, has been always expensive. Italy, Spain. In Spain, they don't want any tourists more. They're just doing demonstration against the tourists. We are very happy here to have tourists. We don't have that kind of problem. We are very welcoming population. We just don't care how many they will come. We'll try to serve them and then do our best. So I don't think we will be in that kind of situation like Spain, because Spain is a very big country, but we are a small country, and we try to make the tourists feel very good when they come here. So mostly of them, let's say 99% of the tourists, when they leave with another feeling about the country.
Yeah, which is exactly when tourism is done well, right? That's the feeling that should be had. You mentioned AI briefly. What impact have you seen AI play out? From your perspective, from a business owner and tourism perspective, is it good, bad, or negligible? Have you not really seen any impact for what you do specifically?
Specifically for what I'm doing here with my B2B partners, I'm seeing that they are still being on the traditional business, traditional way, which is they have a customer list since many, many, many years. They send them the newsletter, and then they just kind of see what tours do they own for the next year, what they do. I think AI could be something in the audio guiding. That would be something very good for Albania. And in terms of like internal management or an agent taking the call, but my B2B partners, I don't see any movement on that space right now. But for me, I'm trying to bring it in the country via my Italian partners, because it is something really, really good right now. So we just can go and, let's say, an Albanian guy who cannot speak German, who is only doing like English speaking tours, with this device, a real live translation, he can just open his doors for, doesn't matter for everybody, You just put the device, and then you can hear your own language there. So it's very nice for the tourism industry, the whole this thing. So in terms of AI, I'm not seeing there to my partners any difference, but I think on the future in terms of marketing, it will play a very big role for them. Right now, I am not on the B2C. I'm only in the B2B. Maybe in 2027, I'm planning to go also into the B2C side. So maybe I'm going to try to really see how AI can help me in the marketing, on the marketing side. But still, when you sell like tickets or tours with 2,000 euros, 1,500 euros, still people like to have their contact person on the phone or on their email, So it's still a trust business, I don't know. What about you? Should you let AI sell you a 2,000 euro product?
Someone else has mentioned that on the podcast, that the more expensive the product or the service, then the more likely or the more needed a human person, a human sales rep has to be there. For lower ticket items, sure, AI can serve the job, but when it's something much more expensive, it's much more likely that person just needs to talk to a person. But I thought, what you said there about, audio descriptions are very interesting. You reminded me of a tour guide I spoke to quite a while back who was trying to upskill himself in terms of language. So for tour guides, if you speak English, you could probably get, I'd say, average pay as a tour guide. But if you can speak languages that are less common, and then you can take groups, let's just say like Thai groups or Indonesian groups, or or Chinese, right? Because you've got that language skill, then your pay as a tour guide can be that much higher because you've got a skill, or you're not like every other tour guide. There's supply demand, right?
Yeah.
With a lot of Chinese groups coming in, and there's not that many Chinese speaking guides in Albania, then that tour guide's going to be much paid much more, right? But obviously, if we've got audio descriptions that can just translate everything, then it sort of normalizes the salary levels, which is interesting when you think in terms of language, language skills. Because I'm imagining you, Elvis, you just mentioned like, Germany, Italy, I imagine you're multilingual. You speak a lot of different languages, right? And you would have grown up learning and spending so much time, learning those languages. I speak Chinese, a little bit of Mongolian, but I just kind of like wonder for people growing up, will they need to learn a language or not?
Yeah.
If it's going to be those, but also, what will that take away? Will that help or not help? Right? Because part of being able to speak to a tour guide is you can properly communicate and speak. I don't know if it's the same if you've got those, auto translate devices, if a plug in and someone's talking at you, but you're not really talking to them. I'm not sure how personable that is, whether that takes away.
Yeah, and I know it's how everything else in life. It's just positive and negative. I mean, for me, it's you need to adapt to the innovation that's coming to the market. For example, right now in Albania, it's very hard to find very good German speaking guides,
Right.
and this maybe can help, maybe not. Maybe I've never. So this product that they introduced, it's 1 month old. It's very new. It's they introduced it in WTM last month in November in London, but I don't think this is gonna help with multiple day guiding. Let's say I take a group for 10 nights. I
Yeah.
don't think they're gonna love that to be on the earphone like the whole 10 day. But
Yeah.
maybe this can help visiting an archaeological site for 2 hours or 3 hours or like a daily trip.
Mm.
This can help, but for
Mm.
10 days, no. But right now, for Chinese tourists coming to Albania that they don't know English, it's very hard to find a Chinese speaking guide. I know some of them, and they charge a lot of money. But with this device, suddenly you can offer service also to them. So I mean, it's positive and negative.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So
Yeah.
as a tour guide, you need to adapt on that. You don't, if you are Chinese speaking and suddenly you are not worth anymore. Now you start giving guides to some English speaking or others and try to make yourself more valuable again, because that's the whole market. One day you are very valuable, in next year you are not so valuable. So that's very
Mm.
normal, but people do not like to change. That's
Mm.
another topic.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. And, with AI and tourism, it's quite an interesting overlap because what can be automated or what can, and I mean, when we think of AI and automation, it boils down to speed and speed and efficiency, taking away the monotonous activities, and we
Yeah.
can see that through our lifetime. Self-service checkout, check-in,
Yes.
for example, right, at airports and at hotels. That's well, does it speed things up? I don't know. It's maybe about the same in my mind, but it's supposed to make things more efficient, a little bit quicker. The same with all of the the apps and the websites, and things, ways that we can book simple holidays, right? All about speed, all about efficiency. But the main premise of a holiday, the experience, the interactions, exactly what you're doing with agritourism, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why people want something authentic. They want something
Yes.
real. They want to stay clear even from mass tourism. A lot
Yes.
of people, right? So being able to provide that authentic, drawn out experience is what people are looking for, and actually what role AI plays within the tourism sector. that's maybe going to take a while to play out. I would definitely agree. Sales and marketing. That's, as a business leader,
Yeah.
that's the one thing that can be taken away, that can just help you to accelerate your business and accelerate your operations, because without any sales, without money coming through the door, you don't have a business, right? Without people actually knowing you exist, you don't have a business, right? So putting the business hat on, that's definitely where AI will play out. But in terms of the actual day-to-day, that's maybe a bit more difficult, right? People want to talk to people. In terms of your itineraries, you need to go to those villages, you need to speak to you need to know what food they're,
Locals. Yeah.
situation they're in. It's not something that you can just hand over to automation or to AI. It needs people interaction.
Well, two aspects we don't need to forget. The first is the time. People do work so hard the whole year, and they have like 2 or 3 vacation a year. So they really needs to think about it. Where do they invest this time, these 10 days? So letting these 10 days to a computer and AI, it's very hard to do that. And it's not about only the money, it's more, time is more valuable than money right now. And so you do need some trust in there to give 10 days of your life in Albania, let's say. And the other aspect is, when you travel, you need to be sure that you have somebody there in case of everything can happen, something can happen. So you know where to call. When you cannot call the AI and try to help you when your car is broken in the middle of the road. So you need to connect with people who can help you in every occasion that can be there. So I think in the tourism world, it's going to be very hard for AI to replace those trust feelings we have inside of us. And so if I come to England for 10 days and I pay £2,000 and I have a problem, where do I go? That's the first question that comes to mind. So I need to call James because he sold me that. So I work for another company. So they should help me with that. So in Albania, which is less known and people are not so, let's say, they do not trust right now like they trust Italy or Greece. This aspect is more variable. So you need human aspects more than ever to sell the product. But in terms of marketing, giving the ideas of how to or help you, like doing some giving you some ideas about marketing, I think yes. But still, you need to be there and human to human interaction. But in terms of audio, I think it's phenomenal. I think
I suppose it goes back to OTAs, right? Online travel agents, that there's a place for them. They exist, right? And they are widely, successful. But people do also know that if they choose to book through an OTA and then something wrong happens, the flights go wrong, or like there was the Greek wildfires back a couple of years ago, anything happens, they call through, they can't get through to anyone. There's no one there because it's all online. So they really struggle for assistance, right?
Unexpected strike, like airports in Italy, for example, they did an unexpected strike last week, or the trains were blocked. So you have a tour there. How do you deal with that? And you don't know the country. Still, you have Google, but you paid for that. It's so. So you need to have that. So this is where I mostly focus my value on the follow up when they come here, so they feel very secure about the country. So that's the most value I think that I try to bring to the tourists.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's, I think, for anyone listening, that's, they should have comfort as well. Businesses that, potentially, want to start doing work in Albania. That's the kind of partner that you want to work with. Someone who's going to be accountable, someone who's going to be there, someone who's going to, because inevitably things go wrong in travel, right? think that everything goes perfectly. It doesn't. Things go wrong all the time, every step, and you need partners that will take accountability, will just get the job done, will just clear things up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think anyone working with yourself, working in a new destination, should count themselves very lucky that they have someone that's already
Yeah.
hands up. I will help. I will get it sorted.
Well, I tell most of the people that I meet in the exhibitions, and the problem with the countries, like, let's say, it's my idea. The problem with Germany or England, or
Mm,
let's say, they take too much time to get updated to the newest stuff that's happening in other countries, because
mm,
things they do develop very slowly in England or Germany. In Albania, they develop very fast. So if you came into the country 15 years ago, and today you will see a completely new country, new
mm,
roads. The Tirana is it's totally new. So it's you need to come to the country and see it yourself, you know,
mm,
and
mm.
do your own research and see if the country can bring value to your customers or
Yeah,
not. And
yeah,
if you do feel like this is not for us, just come in the country and see yourself the places, the history, the
mm,
roads and the beaches and everything. And you can just feel that is this something good or something bad. But we are
mm,
very open society. You can come here, you will be as a guest, so nothing will happen. And I try to explain this to people, but it's very hard actually.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
what we with England, we have 3 daily flights with Ryanair, Wizz Air, British Airways. British Airways will increase next year their flight to Tirana also. So
mm,
with England, it's so easy to come here. It's like 3 hours.
yeah,
You will be here.
yeah, and that's nothing. Yeah, 3 hour
Mm.
flight. Yeah, I mean, we discussed previously. My partner being Mongolian, trying to go to Mongolia and do business, do tours in Mongolia. It's a nightmare. It's like multiple flights.
Yeah.
15 to 20 hours, huge expense. The fact that, Ryanair, direct across to Albania, it's, 3 hours, it's absolutely nothing. And then the value and the experience that you're getting, from a holiday there, it's huge. And going forward, Elvis, what's in the pipeline? What have you got coming forward in the next kind of period?
So for me, right now, so the next year is gonna be like finishing owning my grocery store, and I'm gonna transition. Maybe my parents will keep it, but I'm gonna be out of that. I see myself there to those businesses more as an investor than as
Mm,
an owner, and I'm gonna focus on totally on my tourism tour operator business. So the next year, I hope I can close a deal with the Ministry of Culture in Albania to bring the audio guide and AI into our tourist archaeological sites and museum. Maybe yes, maybe no. We will see. It's going with the government. It's very like it takes so many times. It's legal stuff, and
yeah, yeah,
it's not a very easy deal to make. But we need that as a country. And I was with the deputy minister on the Friday, and I said to her, we need that. We need technology in our site because millions of tourists are coming to the country, so we need to give them the service, you know.
mm,
And she understood it, and now we're taking the time to speak with the legal team and see how we can do this and incorporate the AI and the audio guiding everywhere. And so I'm trying to build that for the next year, but my future is on M&A actually. So that's my dream actually, to be in the M&A world. And but I'm not quite there right now. I need to focus on my tour business, and maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, let's say, I'm gonna go to the M&A world, which is gonna
oh,
be
wow,
a new world for me. But
yeah.
that's my plan.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Well, I mean, with travel, I mean, who is for maybe a partner is listening, who is an ideal partner to reach out to yourself?
So, so companies that are presenting tours to their client lists. They don't have Albania. They know nothing about Albania. Or maybe they have Albania, but they need some refresh ideas. But mostly people who don't know the country, they have no idea about the value of Albania, which is a Mediterranean country. I can help them definitely try to present the value, present some ideas, some tours, and they can take their time and do their math on is a good deal to start Albania or not. But I think it's very good because the prices right now are very good, and it's not going to be all the time, like this. We are seeing increase in prices, and I think the future is like Croatia right now. So they were very cheap, and now they're very expensive. So Albania will become expensive after we will enter the EU. So we think the next 4 or 5 years, we hope we will enter the European Union. So I think there's the price gonna explode. So if you start right now offering Albania, you will build a client list. And when the prices got very expensive, maybe we will have some contacts here with hotels, and so we can keep the prices down. So you start the relationship now. When the prices go up, you use your relationship to keep the prices a little bit down.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. I think that's why you should start seeing Albania as a destination, and not only Albania. You can do a tour like from Croatia, Montenegro, Albania, Greece. You can combine Albania and Greece, so you can do some very good, nice things. Actually,
Yeah. Amazing. Very, very exciting. And what's the best contact details for people to get you on?
Well, we can put my website on the description of the video.
Yep.
And also my email there, and then you can just write me, or just go in LinkedIn, write my name in LinkedIn, and you can just message me there.
Brilliant.
I'm happy to assist.
Excellent. I will put your contact details below. And, for anyone listening, I would highly encourage, you've captured my imagination and attention. There's someone who, I'll be honest, I haven't done a great deal of traveling around Europe. But actually, when you were speaking, especially about the agri tours, you reminded me of my time. I did a trip in Tibet, and went from Lhasa through the countryside. Different, that's the kind of style of trip that I'm captures my imagination. I'm going off the beaten track a little bit, going to those villages, getting that kind of authentic experience. So for anyone that's well, an organizer that wants to take their tourists on that kind of trip, I think they'll probably have the same idea as me, that it inspires some imagination. There's somewhere that they've maybe never been to before or never organized before. There's always like, I want to go there, I want to try that, rather than focusing on those very typical holidays. Those are the things that, as a parent, Disney, I've got to do that. Spain, beach, I've got to do that at some point. But, going somewhere different, going somewhere really different, really authentic. And even, like you said, you can do the beach in Albania.
Yeah.
If you have to do that, you can do it there, right? You can get your dose of history, your culture. So I would definitely encourage, anyone that's listening, reach out to Elvis. And as like I said, someone who clearly takes the accountability, seriously, and wants to genuinely, show Albania for the best that it has. So definitely reach out to Elvis. I think for me, a takeaway from this podcast, a few takeaways. One would be, when we talk about travel, it's easy to focus on the big destinations, on the popular destinations, and ignore what you said very clearly there. What is the fastest growing destination? Because that shows us that it's safe, and it's gaining, because it's safe, it's gaining in popularity, and it's got something to offer, right? Most importantly. So if you're looking at bucket list type destinations, I think don't overlook the rising destinations. They're maybe not the most popular, but they're fastest growing, right? Because there's like it's a trend that shows us like lots of green flags of why
Yeah.
you should go to this destination, and not the red flags that we're seeing in the world. People protesting for against mass tourism, all of the rising costs, these kinds of expenses are just what I would say are the red flags. As soon as you see a red flag, you should be ignoring that and going to the ones with the green flags. So, fastest growing destination, Albania shows us, it is a place that shouldn't be ignored, that demands our attention, right? And when it comes to AI, kind of second takeaway, what you were talking about, the translating tour guides, right? Auto translate. I think it's an amazing concept that opens so many doors to not just Albania, but anyone that's running tours around the world that struggles in gaining the attention of particular groups of people from different countries. This has the potential to open so many doors, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to just rely on the skills of the tour guides that you have, the language skills of those tour guides, but you're opening yourself up to so many more opportunities from a worldwide market, right? And I think watching that play out is going to be extremely interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. But Elvis, thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure having you on.
Great. Thanks. It was great to be with you. And I hope you with your family will come to the country. Well, I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to send some videos in your LinkedIn.
Oh,
You
brilliant.
can check with your wife and let me know what you think about them.
Absolutely. No, you've genuinely inspired my my imagination, and I love going to new places. I hate going to places a second or a third or a fourth time. I want to go to new places. So
Yeah.
if I find a place that gets my attention, then yeah, brilliant.
Thank
Fantastic having you on, Elvis. And everyone listening, thank you so much for listening. Please do like and share this video so we can get this message out to as many people as possible. Thank you.